ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासा ततो जयमुदीरये। अष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9 and text number 7. Nishamya tat vaktru didruksha didruks didruk didrukshaya dishaha vilokya tatra anyad apashramanaha swadhishnyam asthaya vimbrasya itam tapasi upadi staha upadishtaha ivadate manaha. Nishamya tatvatrudidrukshayadisho vilokya tatranyadapashyamanaha swadhishnyam astaya vimbrashyatadhittam tapasya upadishta ivadadhe manaha. Nishamya tatvatrudidrukshadisho vilokya tatranyadapashyamanaha swadhishnyamasthaya vimrashyatadhitam tapasya upadishta ivadadhe mana. Nishamya tatvatrudidrukshamadisho vilokya tatranyadapashyamanaha swadhishnyamasthaya vimrashyatadhitam tapasya upadishta ivadate manaha. Ishamya, after hearing. Tat, that. Vaktru, the speaker. Ditraksha, just to find out who spoke. Dishaha, all sides. Vilokya, seeing. Tatra, there. Anya, any other. Apashamanaha, not to be found. Swadhishnyam, on his lotus seat. Asthaya, sit down. Vimrusha, thinking. Tat, it. Hitam, welfare. Tapasi, in penance. Upadishtaha, upadishtaha, as he was instructed. Iva, in Persian saw. Adadhe, gave. Manaha, attention. Translation and purport by Serving Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation. When he heard this sound, he tried to find the speaker, searching all sides. But when he was unable to find anyone besides himself, he thought it wise to sit down on his lotus seat firmly and give attention to execution of penance, as he was instructed. Purpose. To achieve success in a life, one should follow the example of Lord Brahma, the first living creature in the beginning of a creation. After being initiated by the Supreme Personality of the Godhead to execute tapasya, he was fixed in his determination to do it. And although he could not find anyone besides himself, he could rightly understand that the sound was transmitted by the Lord himself. Brahma was the only living being at the time because there was no other creation and none could be found there except himself. In the beginning of the first canto, the first chapter, first verse of the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is It has already been mentioned that Brahma was initiated by the Lord from within. The Lord is within every living entity as the super soul. And he initiated Brahma because Brahma was willing to receive the initiation. The Lord can similarly initiate everyone who is inclined to have it. As already stated, Brahma is the original spiritual master for the universe. And since he was initiated by the Lord himself, the message of Srimad Bhagavatam is coming down by cyclic succession. And in order to receive the real message, Srimad Bhagavatam, one should approach the current link or spiritual master in the chain of disciplic succession. After being initiated by the proper spiritual master in that chain, one should not, however, think himself on the level of Brahma to be initiated directly by the Lord from inside. Because in the present age, no one can be accepted to be as pure as Brahma. The post of Brahma to officiate in the creation of the universe is offered to the most pure living being. And unless one is so qualified, one cannot expect to be treated like a Brahmaji directly. But one can have the same facility through unalloyed devotees of the Lord, through scriptural instructions, as revealed in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam especially. And also through the bona fide spiritual master available to the sincere soul. The Lord himself appears as a spiritual master to a person who is sincere in heart about serving the Lord. Therefore, the bona fide spiritual master who happens to meet the sincere devotee should be accepted as the most confidential and beloved representative of the Lord. If a person posted under the guidance of such a bona fide spiritual master, it may be accepted without any doubt that the desiring person has achieved the grace of the Lord. So can somebody tell me that what are the important points that are there in this purport? If you have heard it. Sorry?
The Lord is in everyone.
Yeah, that's the super soul in everyone's heart.
Everyone is not qualified directly in achievement by the Supreme Lord. So your action is spiritual master.
Okay.
You need to be sincere.
Brahma was spiritual master.
The first sentence of this purport, Prabhupada says, to achieve success in a life, one should follow the example of Lord Brahma. What he has done that we should follow. You should follow the authority. Rather than wasting his time on speculating and creating own system, he just followed what instruction he got. He tried by his level best to find out from where that sound has come. Then what happened? He thought that it is wise to sit down on the lotus firmly and give his attention to executions of penance. Sometimes we accept spiritual master for the sake of nameplate. I am now initiated. I got new horns now. They are there on my head. I'm senior. As yesterday we have discussed what is meant by initiation. Dadati divya jnanam. The initiation means spiritual masters imparts that particular living entity a divya jnana, a transcendental knowledge. And in that reciprocation, what does disciple do? Diksha kale shishya kare atma samarpan. He surrenders to that instruction. Sei kale tare Krishna kare atmasam. And same time when Krishna sees his dedication, his surrender, he makes him as himself. He makes him as pure as he is. So if you see these symptoms, if someone has taken initiation, then it is considered that that person has connected with the proper disciplic succession. Otherwise, the person who is giving that initiation and who is taking, both are destined to go to hell. Because Lord never likes any pretenders or pretenders. Both things. And that's why here it is clearly said that to achieve a success in a life, one should follow the example of Lord Brahma. And he really did perform austerities for thousands of years. Not one or two. Before creation, he did it for thousands of years. Can you get an instruction, like drop instruction from there? After being initiated by the Supreme Lord to execute tapasya, he was fixed in his determination to do it. And although he could not find anyone beside himself, he could rightly understand that the sound was transmitted by the Lord himself. Because Brahma was the only one living being existed at the time of creation. It's there on the other shelf there, on the box. प्रभु, वो बाजू में इसके ऊपर है. In the beginning of the first canto, in the first chapter, first verse, it is said, Tene Brahmaruda Adi Kavaye. This knowledge is revealed by the Lord in the heart of Brahma. What happens during this initiation? Divyam jnanam yato dadyat kuryat papaksya sanshayam. Tasmat diksheti saprokta deshikais tattva kovidaha. By diksha, one gradually becomes disinterested in material enjoyment and gradually becomes interested in the spiritual life. That's not the translation. That's the Prabhupada's comment on that. But the translation goes like, during the formality of initiation, spiritual masters, they give transcendental knowledge to their disciple, and at the same time, the reaction of gaining that transcendental knowledge whatever sin he has committed up to that point gets nullified. So if you want to get rid of your sins, better to take initiation. Because by our own endeavor, we can't able to purify ourselves. But if you come in contact with the transcendental knowledge given by the spiritual master, definitely you will purify your existence. And rest of the history then, if you want, because Lord has given you independence, you can continue with that status of our consciousness. Otherwise, you are free to commit sins. And whether you are committing or not, that comes to know by seeing the spiritual master, whether he is suffering or not. If spiritual master is suffering after every initiation, then we have to consider that whoever has taken initiation, how much they are into spiritual consciousness. That has to be understood. But here, second thing that Prabhupada speaks about, Brahma is the original spiritual master of the universe. And since he was initiated by Lord himself, the message of Srimad Bhagavatam is coming down by disciplic succession. So as Lord has proved himself in Bhagavad Gita that to re-establish the religion and to re-establish the Yuga Dharma, Lord has started a new parampara starting with the Arjuna. So that disciplic succession should continue and people should deliver themselves by understanding this knowledge. So in the same way, here also, that same unbroken disciplic succession has explained. If you want to understand the knowledge given by the Lord, then you should take it from the disciplic succession. Sometimes what happens, we think of just reading books and getting that knowledge or acquiring that knowledge, but it never comes. If reading books, you would have got a knowledge, then the librarians, they would have been the most knowledgeable personalities. But is that the fact? No. They may gather information, but there is no transformation of the heart. And if there is no transformation of a heart, whatever endeavor you are doing, as per the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is useless. Shrama eva hi kevalam. It's only an endeavor. It's only an endeavor that you put. So, the first principle of spiritual life is surrender to the instruction of spiritual master. Second thing, if you surrender, then what happens? Divya Gyan Hriday Prakashita. Then by the mercy of spiritual master, that knowledge, it enlightens in your heart. So not by studying, but by the mercy of spiritual master, you can get the spiritual knowledge, as Brahmaji has got. After being initiated by the proper spiritual master in that chain of succession, one should engage himself in discharge of a tapasya, in execution of devotional service. So let's think about what is meant by tapasya. What is the definition of tapasya? Lala? Huh? That's in English we call austerity. But what is mean by austerity? If someone is already detached, then what is the tapasya for? I know it is not mine, so giving it up, it's not austerity for me. No?
Second, please.
That's another meaning of austerity. Voluntarily accepting some inconvenience for the pleasure of the Lord. That is known as tapasya. Even though facilities are there, but voluntarily you are getting away from them for the pleasure of the Lord. Like Ekadashi. At home you have all ingredients. You are your own to cook and eat it. But do you eat that? Voluntarily you accept that inconvenience that day. For what? Because if I fast that day, Lord will please with that. Tapasya means that. When things are available and you have an enjoying tendency, but you curtail that, voluntarily you take that initiative, that is known as a tapasya. Brahma was the first enjoyer, as considered, because he was the first person who was created. He would have enjoyed the things. But what he did, he followed the instruction, what he has got it from the Lord, and he performed tapasya. He sat at one place and started meditating on the Lord. The post of Brahma to officiate in the creation of the universe is offered to the most pure being. And unless one is qualified, one cannot expect to be treated like Brahmaji directly. So what is the meaning of this sentence? Unless one is so qualified, one cannot expect to be treated like a Brahmaji directly.
Pure soul.
Exactly. That means sometimes the living entity who is not a devotee of our Lord also can become a Brahma because of his purity. Not necessarily that devotees are only pure and other people are not pure. Other practitioners of yoga and jnana and karma, it's not that they are not pure, they are also pure. That's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur in one of his songs he sings, Bahirmukha Brahma Janma. I don't want that Bahirmukha Brahma Janma. Rather than that, I will be happy to become an insect in the house of devotee. That means sometimes unqualified person who does not want to render devotional service to the Lord also can become a Brahma because of his purity. If someone follows like 100 Varnashram Dharma for hundreds of lifetimes, he becomes qualified to become a Brahma. And it is clearly mentioned here, the most pure living being. It's not said that only a devotee can become a Brahma. Brahma can become a devotee. That's his choice. But anyone can become a Brahma by performing austerities for 100 lifetimes, following the Varnashram Dharma, he can become. But that's not more important. What's more important is that through the unalloyed devotees of the Lord, through the scriptural instruction, one should get the knowledge and use it for Krishna's service. Just to give evidence for not necessarily that every pure devotee can become a Brahma, is that because when we fall down from the spiritual world, the first post we got is that is Brahma. So all we are sitting here, whatever insect creatures there around here, all they when came from spiritual world, the first position they got it as a Brahma. And look at us from where we have degraded ourselves. Being the creator of the world, now we are where? Controlled by wives, controlled by the bosses, controlled by the HR, controlled by the so-called so intelligent, so sophisticated human beings, which we considered as a Dvipada Pashus. What we have done with ourselves? Have we thought about that any time? Huh? How much we have degraded ourselves. Right now in this body, we may be father of someone, son of someone, husband of someone, daughter of someone. But originally who we are? Have we thought about that? No. Why? Because we never get association of the people who always think about that. Generally, we get affected with the thoughts of the people whom we associate. Is that true? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. So if you want to make us progress in spiritual life, with whom you have to associate? Why? Sangat sanjayate karmaha. Because when you associate with someone, definitely you will perform the same activities as that person is performing. So if you associate with the devotee, not necessarily that you should imitate them, but just being with them, you will start checking out your own activities. Whether I'm doing it wrong or it's right. Sometimes what's happened, even though in the association of devotees, but you don't have a tendency to change, nothing can change you in this world. Your Lord himself comes, he will also not able to change. Unless and until you have desire to change. Apparently, it may seem that someone is a devotee for 20 years, 30 years, but he has not changed himself. That does not mean that process is wrong. He is in the process, but still he has not changed. Process is same, but he is not responding with that process properly. He is not reciprocating. He is not following that process. You can see, you know River Narmada. Have you heard about? Huh? In Narmada, you will find really nice pebbles, stones. And they are very well shaped, round, looks very wonderful. Water is incessantly flowing in the Narmada. But that has not changed these stones. They are like that, even though they are in the water. Generally, if something falls in the water, it changes after some time. But they remain like that. So that means that river does not have that capacity to change them, or the stones, they does not reciprocating with that process because of their stubborn nature. It's our nature that restricts us to progress in spiritual life. That need to be checked. And when you associate with the devotees, it takes a long time sometimes. Or sometimes it's like a fraction of a moment. Like yesterday, one devotee was telling one incident with Swami Japataka Swami Maharaj. He was on one of the airports. And before you board the flight, someone is there who checks your tickets. So one lady used to be there. So Maharaj, whenever he used to travel, he used to give one sweet to her. So for a few years, actually, Maharaj never been at that place because of his sickness. So when just he recently went there again, that woman was not there actually. But when she saw somewhere in the CCTV that Swamiji is going from there, she came running. She said, "Sir, stop. Swamiji, I need that sweet last time you gave me." Maharaj just looked at her. He asked his servants that they should give. So Maharaj took one sweet and gave it to her. Then she said, "I need one more." Maharaj, okay, he gave a smile and another he gave one more. So then she said, "Last time you gave me that sweet, I never took it. I went home and gave it to my mother. And mother had it, and that same night she got a dream of Krishna. So now I wanted to have that dream, so give me one also. That's what happened with the moment of association with the pure devotee. If you take in that way, it depends upon you. As Lord has explained in Bhagavad Gita, I'm there. I'm there as a time also, and I'm there as a loving father also. You have to decide in which relation you wanted to have me in your life. You wanted me as a time, all devouring everything, or you want as a benevolent father. He's there in the both ways. So you have to decide in which way you want to reciprocate with the Lord. It's your choice. So spiritual knowledge is given to everyone. But how to reciprocate with that knowledge, that's your minute independence. People generally they ask, Lord is so merciful, then why he has make us suffer? You say that he is so benevolent father. I was seeing some video, and there's that person who put an argument that there is no God, it's just waste of a time for that. Very well-educated, sophisticated person. This is just bullish thing that the people, they are misguiding others because they themselves are not capable to work it out. So they put everything on the God and blah, 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 so many. And he said, what's the problem with you? Listen, if there is a God, then why people are suffering? Why there is a sorrow? My parents, they are growing old. Still, I love them, but I'm seeing that they're growing old. Why they are growing old? Why everyone is getting diseased? Then that person, he thought that it's pointless to argue with this person because he has made his mind not to accept God. Then what I can do it for him? If someone is closing window and says that there is no sunlight at all, if you keep open the window, then you will get the sunlight. So that person, he just moved along the way and he saw that someone is sitting there with whom he had a conversation that was a barber. So he went out and he saw one person with a long beard, long hair. So he brought him inside the shop. And he said, what you said just now? Why there is a suffering? And God is there and people are still suffering. That means God is not there. He said, I don't believe that there is a barber. Barber is not there in the world. He said, what a funny thing you are saying. I just trimmed your hairs. I shaved you. I am a barber. He said, no ways. How you can be a barber? There is no barber in the world. He said, why? Look at this person. He has such a 3 feet long hairs, 4 feet long beard. That means there is no barber. If barber would have been there, he would have been clean shaved. I said, don't joke with me. If this person has to get clean shaved, he has to approach me. Then only he can get clean shaved. I said, what you said? Just come back again. He said, he has to approach me, then only he can realize there is a barber and he can get shaved properly. So I said, same way. Why there is a suffering? Because you people are not approaching God. If you approach him, you will find bliss in each and everything. That's your problem that you are not approaching. It's not that happiness is not there in the world. It's there. But you yourself is keeping away from you that happiness. And that happiness in connection with the Lord. If you get connected with him, you will become happy. So it's your choice whether to become Krishna conscious or whether to remain Maya conscious. Krishna Das, Sada Bindas, Maya Das, Sada Udas. So you have to decide. You want to be a Maya Das or you want to be a Krishna Das? Hare Krishna. Yes.
said that everyone was a Brahma kind of. So you said everyone was a Brahma, and then from there we degraded to this level. So can there be so many Brahmas, or they can
Millions of Brahmas.
so
Every universe has its own Brahma. Now, our universe is very small. He has only 4 heads. There are Brahmas who are having like millions of heads. People may think it's a mythology, but that's the fact. Once, Chaturmukha Brahma, he came to Dwarka to meet their lordship. And he told that guard, okay, just go and tell their lordship that Brahma has come to meet. So Lord was sitting inside. He said, which Brahma? So he came back and he asked, yes, Lord has asked which Brahma. Brahma's like 4 heads, they started spinning. So what? Which Brahma? I'm the only one person in this creation, known as a Brahma. And as he was completing this sentence, he saw that there are different personalities flying from the air and they are coming down. He looked at them. Someone has 10 heads, someone has 100, someone has 10,000, someone has millions. So who are they? And they are coming and they are offering all the prayers. Surprised. Then God says, these are Brahmas from the whole creation. You are some minute living entity born in one of the universe which is very small, which needs only a 4 head to manage. They are from that universes which needs the millions of head to manage. Don't think that you are the only one person. So there are millions of Brahmas. That story is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. So somebody was asking Prabhupada that when I came to this material, he said, don't waste time in thinking of that. Try to think that how I can go back. And when you go back, then in leisure you can sit with Krishna and discuss that when you came, then why you have came. That's not my business. My business is take you back. So don't ask these foolish questions again, wasting time. So rather than finding the source, we should find out the way how to go back.
When a person takes initiation, whatever sins he has done until that point of time, they get nullified.
Burnt.
And what sins goes to the Maharaj who is giving initiation? After that, whatever sins he does, till initiation is all gone.
Yeah, that's why that fire sacrifice is there to burn everything. Everything is swaha. Whatever till time you have done, it's swaha. It goes burnt.
the good thing also gets
Bad thing. We never said good thing.
She's talking about the sins accumulated after initiation.
I told her that.
Oh,
My second sentence was answer for that one. We never heard that.
I missed it. When you accumulate these sins, that's accumulating again. They don't.
What goes to spiritual master, she asked.
Yeah.
The sins, what you commit after initiation, that goes to spiritual master. Because the first quota he has burnt during that procedure. Diksha kale dadati divya jnanam. And kshayanti cha sarva papani. It destroys your sins, what you have committed up to that moment.
That once you surrender to Krishna, all your sins are wiped.
Yeah. Whatever you have done, that is, now you are a clean slate. Diksha means a new birth. Why it is called as a new birth? Your sinful life has gone. Now your new life has started.
What happens at second initiation?
That Iskcon has that adjustment. Diksha means once. You have to accept spiritual master. Second initiation meant for those who wanted to do deity worship, etc. But to go back to Godhead, first initiation is enough. Getting connected with the parampara and chanting the holy name. That's the Tarak mantra one has given, not the other mantras. They are Tarak mantras. Tarak mantra, which takes you back to Godhead, is Maha mantra.
So, it has been said that in each yoga there is a different process. So basically, deity worship was in
Dwapara.
right? So why we are doing deity worship?
Because there are 5 things that Mahaprabhu has said that will intensify your love for the Lord and that will increase your attachment to the Lord. In that it is Vasati Tada Priti Stale, staying there where Lord performed his pastimes, like a Mathura Vrindavan pass. Then Diksha, taking initiation from the bona fide spiritual master. Serving the deities, Archa Vigraha form of the Lord. Again, that intensifies your love for the Lord. And there are other 2 things like engaging yourself in the chanting of the holy name and reading Srimad Bhagavatam. These 5 things, they intensify your attachment to their Lordship. That's right. Generally, otherwise, our Shadu Goswamis, whom we consider as a pure devotees, and they also showed by their own example the importance of deity worship. So that's the process through which you can strengthen your faith to chant the holy name of the Lord. What is more pleasing for their Lordship is chanting the holy name. Other upcharas, it's okay. They accept it. But chanting, that was meant for all the yugas, not only for the Kali Yuga. But Kali Yuga is specially given, and that's why the other people who born in other ages, they pray to their Lordship, give us birth in the age of a Kali. Why? Because it's a very easy process that you are given at the age of a Kali to go back to God. And that's chanting the holy name. Other yugas, you have to do all circus, all gymnasium, do yoga, Ashtanga yoga, Hatha yoga, this yoga, that yoga, to make you qualified to go back to God. But in the age of a Kali, Kali Kale Namarupe Krishna Avatar, in the age of a Kali, Lord is there in his name form. And it's readily available. So you can just approach it. See, rather than we are so-called devotees. We don't have faith in the name of the Lord. Better than us, there's ghosts and hobgoblins. When you chant the holy name of Lord, they run away. Because they know Lord and his name is not different. But we don't believe that. We chant and try to cheat others. Keep old thing as a new and so that's not the way. In the age of Akali, the very sublime way they have given, that is chanting the holy name. It's very easy. Okay? Srila Prabhupada ki, Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki.